So, welcome to our podcast for tonight. It doesn't look like Bev is going to make it. We waited a bit to get started, and we're just going to go ahead and get into things. Kendra and I tonight. We're going to be discussing, to get right into it, um, the state of what's going on, the historical turnout at the No King's Day protest, and probably touch on protesting and an experience that I had in the last week that I feel like is probably going to take precedence over my usual segment, only because I really do feel at this point in time it's very important that listeners and our audience understand that things are getting hectic and dangerous really fast. So, let's just get started here, Kendra. What do you think about tonight's? I don't know if you've heard already. I assume that you have. That the president has went ahead to agree to make strikes on Israel or on Iran with Israel, even though we haven't got congressional approval yet.
Yeah, I hadn't really been able to pay attention much to the news today, so I had a feeling that he was going to go that route just because this is what he does. Um it's I mean, Israel needs to put their big boy pants on and handle this on their own. They started it, they can finish it, and we do not need to interject anymore. I've been very not for Israel for quite some time. So I guess that's not really a shock that I think that they just need to deal with this on their own. I mean, if you start the fight, you're got to finish it. And I think we shouldn't get involved, but obviously he's going to do what he wants to do. And he doesn't care about the checks and balances. He's already made that clear.
Yeah, that is the military parade in and of itself. That attempt was blatantly he's trying to use our own military against us, and it's not Trump's military; it's America's military. And
Right.
there are certain rules that apply to them as per the rules of engagement, and those things do not matter to this president at all. And I think that that's amplified by the fact that yesterday he said, when he was asked to call the governor of Minnesota about the political assassination that occurred on King's Day, no King's Day, um, and he said that the governor was basically whacked out and that it would be a waste of his time. A president in the United States is supposed to unite people, the United States. What makes a president a good president is their ability to be a president for all of the people, whether or not they believe in him or not. Um, whether or not they voted for him or not, because this is something I really feel people have forgotten. The president is not our boss. In fact, it's the opposite. The president works for the people. And even if they didn't vote for him, he still works for those people. And so when you say he's your president, you're right, which means us making him accountable and holding him to the rule of law, which is the Constitution, is what we're supposed to be doing. And so the
Mm-hmm.
moment that you start telling people that they're wrong for challenging a question or questioning a president, or that they're wrong for not showing undying fealty to him, you are the one that is actually being anti American. And tonight, I really wanted to discuss what it really means to be a patriot. Patriots, originally, they were people who were willing to go to war for what they believed in. They were willing to fight and they were willing to execute.
Mm-hmm.
And they knew that they were taking on the biggest, strongest imperial force at the time that they chose to do it. But they also knew that a free people could not be led by a tyrant. There is no possible way you cannot have a tyrant in power and be a free people.
Right.
And this is the reason why everyone started it out with this is going to be no King's Day. The idea that Democratic politicians, and I'm not a Democrat, but I do not believe in political assassination either. The idea
Right.
that Democratic politicians could wake up in the morning, go to the door, and somebody could be dressed as a police officer in a fake rubber mask and just mow them down, and that the president won't even call to issue his condolences is not only shocking, it's downright disgraceful.
I agree. You're supposed to, as president, of course, like you said, that he works for everybody, no matter what side of the fence you're on. And the fact that he is not willing to put things aside politically, like political views, whatever, or whatever kind of twisted thinking he has regarding these individuals, and make the call that anybody else would have made,
The
just
moment it
baffles me.
happened, I mean, the
Yeah.
moment it happened. I mean, most good presidents probably would not have even continued their military parade without stepping up and using that opportunity to go up to the podium and say, we need to take a moment of silence for those who we've lost today because the most anti American thing has occurred on our soil. And I'm not going to
Right.
stand for it. That's the kind of thing that presidents do.
Yes.
This is the kind of thing that psychopaths do. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
how hateful and callous and disgusting can you be, and what kind of message does that send to MAGA who supports that? What kind of message does that send? And I'm going to go into what happened to me now. And Kindra was there because Kindra was watching it on live stream. Last Thursday, I went to the Ice Out protest in Eugene, Oregon to be boots on the ground for Authors of the Resistance. Something that I said I was going to do, and I did do. And again, as I've said before, this was not my first rodeo. I have done it. And I have nearly been ran over 3 times now. On last Thursday, it had been 2, and both of them happened in 2020. But last Thursday, I went to the Ice Out protest and I gathered with everyone at Free Speech Plaza. I listened to the speeches and I seen some of my former comrades that I worked in different places that actually were part of the team that got attacked that I talked about. I seen some of those people that day, which doesn't surprise me. These are real activists. These are people that are in the community that I know are going to stand up. And they may not be present at every protest, but they're going to be present at some. And I was very
Mm-hmm.
happy to see them there. Everything seemed good. It was peaceful. We were being peaceful, all of us. There were no real problems. We marched from Free Speech Plaza in Eugene down 8th Avenue to the federal courthouse. And there were a few more speeches that were done. At that time, when we were marching, there were 5 or 6 bike cops that were standing in front of the Free Speech Plaza watching us. But they were just watching us. They didn't interact. They didn't do anything. They didn't even have any riot gear. They didn't have zip ties. They had nothing to show that they were there for us, other than they were watching to make sure that no people that were counter protesters came to cause a problem. Okay? And that was very clear. Um, so then the next thing that occurred, we finished that up. It was probably maybe an hour or so long. And we were marching back to Free Speech Plaza. And some of the organizers on bicycles asked for those of us who were at the top of the marchers to come and stand at this intersection at Pearl and 8th Street in Eugene, Oregon. And there were 2 trucks. And I was one of the people. And I had an orange sign. I did not say anything to anyone as I was walking up towards the truck, but I went to go stand in line. And something about me, I guess, and you were there, Kendra, you saw it. So I'm going to let you explain kind of what it looked like from your viewpoint because I don't know how it looked from that viewpoint. But what happened to me, I walked up and the woman lunged the truck at me and tried to hit me. And I came unglued.
And that's pretty much what I saw too. Like, that they were just, I guess they were just, was it a red light, I'm
It was a
assuming?
stop sign.
Yeah, so they're sitting there, and then all of a sudden I see movement in your direction. And I was like, oh shit, someone's gonna hit side. Oh my God. And now we're gonna watch this on live. And they stopped, thankfully. But I mean, gee,
She lunged the
I
car at
was
me.
terrified. Yeah.
And then I think once she realized how many people were actually around, and that I was live streaming, she pulled her phone out like she was gonna take a picture of me, and it's like, that doesn't really faze me. I've been live streaming the whole time. Like, the evidence is
Right.
right there of what you did, and all of these people seen it, and there were other people that were in the march who were streaming and were like, I got that on camera, I seen her almost hit you.
Right. It's not like you were jaywalking. I mean, you were on the crosswalk.
Yeah, and
Right. So, I mean, like,
I was standing in line to help because we were trying to get all of the marchers across back to the Free Speech Plaza and make sure everybody got across safely. And yeah, I feel like the way that the truck looked, now this is just speculation, y'all. The way that the truck looked, the way that she looked, the situation felt like she was there to try to hurt someone. And when she seen me being short, white presenting, it really pissed her off. And that was why she was just like, I'm going to teach you a lesson. But then all these people rushed around. And then I was like, if you want to hurt me, come on then. Get out of the damn fucking truck. Like, let's see who's not a coward here. Because I was not aggressive. I was not there to be anything. And I tell people all this all the time. I don't protest police. Okay? I don't tell people what to do. And riotous acts were some of the first acts to start the United States. The Boston Tea Party was a riot. Let's not just call it a protest, it was a riot, but it was in protest, okay? What they did was destroy lots and lots of money worth of product, okay? Dumped it into the damn harbor and fuck those guys, okay? Like, that's what they did. Technically speaking, that's a crime, okay? Like, that is defacing public property. That's like other people's property, that's vandalism, all those things, technically. But you see, a lot of the things that started the Americas were crimes.
yeah.
That doesn't mean that I think that they were right, but I understand why they were committed. And I understand why we are where we are at today. And so the First Amendment, the right to protest, the right to grievance with our country, that's something patriots did. And they did it at their own detriment. And they did it in peril, in direct peril. That is the reason why some of the main writings back then are by pen names, because if they would have told you who they actually were and would have proved that they weren't a loyalist, they would have been executed by the British Crown.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's the difference right there. You are not supposed to have loyalty to any president. To be a patriot means you do not have loyalty to any president. It means you have loyalty to the United States Constitution and all that it stands for. And the moment that you try to debase it, you have committed treason. The moment that you try to run into a crowd of protesters with your vehicle because you disagree with them, you are not a patriot. In fact, you are the very thing that the patriots fought against. Because you are representing a loyalist to someone who views himself a king in a country that was founded in defiance of a king.
Right.
So,
I mean, there were multiple instances too of people getting run over.
Yes, and
during these protests.
That's why I wanted to talk about it, and I wasn't going to go so much into protest safety as much as I'm going to talk about the reality, because for months I've talked about the protest safety tips. And the tips are valid. They're very important. But at this point, we are now at the point where they are driving vehicles into crowds. They are dressing in police gear and going to politicians' households and shooting them. There was a fashion designer who just passed away out of Salt Lake City, who was a protester at No King's Day, Arthur was his name. Um, and he was shot and he died. He succumbed to his injuries. A 14-year-old boy and a 21-year-old girl were hit in California by a madman driving through a crowd. And as you can see in Eugene, I was almost one of those people. And as I've said 2 other times in 2020, I was almost ran over by similar types of people.
Right.
And they don't care. Their only thing that they
No.
did fear in the end was the amount of people that were willing to stand there and do something about it if they saw them commit the act they were about to act. And in other cases, we still
Absolutely.
have a person who is on the run. The man who committed all of these atrocious acts with a manifesto and all the politicians' names and the abortion clinics and providers' names and all these things was on the run for 2 days, and his wife was also caught with countless amounts of money and passports. These people are evil.
She had ammunition, right?
Yeah,
As well, if I'm not
everything:
mistaken.
weapons,
So,
ammo,
yeah.
money, passports. And they want to say that the peaceful protesters are the one that have a problem. They want to shoo in fascism under loyalist to a tyrant who has admitted that he's a dictator out of his own mouth and who is literally, as we speak, trying to sanction a war that he has no congressional approval, while all of the United States citizens are, basically all of them, are saying that they don't want to go to war. I hate to break it to you, MAGA, but I'm going to say this right now. I'm not going to war. I'm a DEI. They ain't going to send me. Guess whose sons they're sending? Guess whose daughters they're sending? I hope you guys are ready to see that draft get enlisted. I hope you're ready to see your youngins go and be the ones that get to die for your loyalty to this tyrant who's going to take your money and send it over there so that a bunch of people can once again be offered to the war pig machine. And who gets to pay the end and who gets to be the one that's responsible for the cost at the end? Us. It's all out of our
Us.
dimes.
Yeah.
It's not just our dimes, it's our children. It's at the cost of all of the freedoms that they ever had. And they're not even going to have the same freedoms that we did. And now we have this person who is having people that are within the right to go into places arrested. Governors threatened to be arrested. Clergy members threatened to be deported. I mean, last week somebody tried to tell me that I was gonna have my passport revoked and sent back to New Delhi. I'm obviously not that kind of Indian.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I had to laugh, but that's how crazy they are, Kendra. Like,
Oh my
that's
gosh. You know what? It's fine. Send me back to where my ancestors came from. I'll go live in Scotland. It seems like a nice place.
But you see, it's not even like that. It's not even where he's just going to take people and he's going to deport them to the worst, most deplorable prisons on the planet to make an example out of them because they weren't loyalists. And again, that's what this whole entire episode is about: is what is the difference? What is a real patriot? A real patriot is the 80-something-year-old man who got arrested for protesting on No King's Day and served in World War II. That's a real patriot. My grandfather
Oh,
was
I
a real
agree.
patriot. Your family that served, they were real patriots. Real patriots are the ones that got shot on No King's Day and passed away. They're the ones that got ran over on No King's Day and are now in the hospital. And you know that the biggest thing that I think that all of them say the most is they always talk about that quote about the tree of liberty and how it needs to be watered by the blood of both tyrants and patriots alike. It's being watered by patriots right now. When's it going to be watered by the tyrant? We've already had blood lost, and those people are patriots. Those people are real patriots. And the people that are willing to fight for the United States Constitution and who understand that the Declaration of Independence, when it was signed, what it was actually a major diss to the British Crown.
Right.
And people need to ask themselves, what do you want to be? Do you want to be loyal to someone who doesn't even pick up the phone to issue condolences when a horrible thing happens? But I'm going to tell you the difference. See, allegedly, Luigi Mangione assassinated Brian Thompson. One person, one crime. That's going to save billions of lives.
Right.
And that person was called a domestic terrorist. But this person, who's a Republican, we now know that for sure, and I'm not saying that this is all Republicans, but the ones that haven't pulled out already, who haven't recognized that their party was taken over by a tyrant, y'all need to wake up.
Oh, quick.
Real fast.
Yeah.
Because you're running out of time. And you got to decide, do you want to be a loyalist to that? Or do you want to be a patriot to the United States of America? Because these are historical moments. And I don't know that next week I won't get hit at a protest. I don't know in the last moment that me standing up might cause me to no longer be alive. And I do recognize it's a possibility. I've faced it more than once. I'm also not afraid of it. Because courage isn't about not knowing that you might lose. It's about knowing that if you don't stand up and say something, you're going to lose anyway. Fear that I have is real, and that is the reason why I've tried to advocate and teach people as much as I can about what I've experienced. But I also don't allow it to control what I'm going to do or stop me from doing the choice that I've made, which is to be a real patriot. And when unjust laws have been passed and the Constitution is being eradicated constantly, evil prevails when good people do nothing. I refuse to be one of them.
Right.
So that's basically the gist of what I have there on what a patriot is. And then we have this whole other... I want to convey my condolences to Adriana Smith's family and really lift them up. These people, especially as it pertains to history and Georgia and birth plantations, the things that they have endured, for her corpse to be dissected and the child to weigh 1 pound. The precedent that this sets is horrifying, of what they could do to other black and brown young women. Any women, really, but they're probably most likely to go for the young ones because they want them to be viable, right?
Right.
Is terrible, and it's really hard not to... It's really hard not to tear up and just like bawl about it, because the baby's gonna live with no mother if he even makes it through this. 1 pound is... If she were
just in the
alive...
palm of your hand, it's horrible.
And it was so... I think she was like 9 weeks pregnant when she went into the coma and then died.
I believe so, yeah.
So that was back in February. So that's like 4 months ago. How old would that make the baby? Like 6-7 months gestation? Something like that.
Yeah.
That's incredibly premature. So I mean, and there are people that are celebrating this. I don't feel like this is celebratory.
It's not. No, it's horrible. It's horrifying. Like, just... And I can't imagine what her family's going through. What they've been going through.
Dead things can't deliver life, Kindra.
No.
Like, how are they going to register this birth? Like, that this is Gilead. This
Oh,
is Gilead.
absolutely. There is even a portion in the show where this happened. Like, they had a woman on life support to just basically be this incubator for a fetus. And so, like, when I saw that and then I was thinking about it, I was like, shit, this is real now, and that we know that they're doing this now, and
There's nothing we could do about it. Just imagine.
no.
Just imagine. I don't have a uterus, so they can't do it to me. But if you have a uterus and you have any kind of issue happen to you, Kindra, and you get sick and you become comatose, they can take control over your body, no matter what your husband says, and do whatever they want with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's
That's terrifying, because I don't want to be. I already made it 100% clear with my husband. Like, if something happens to me and I am brain dead, please just pull the plug. Just do it, because I'm not going to live like that.
and
Live.
your advance
It's not
directive
even
is
living.
your advance directive is supposed to stand. Period.
Right.
Like,
And then you think about, like, the doctors take this oath, right? Do no harm. So it's like, what do you think just happened to this poor woman and this baby and her family?
you gave this child a life of trauma, if the child even survives. A life of
Right.
trauma. This child is going to have to live with the story, my mother was Adriana Smith, over their head forever. I never got to know my mom, other than I know that you guys did a horrible thing to her that I guess 5 years before I was born was illegal.
Right.
Like, I can't imagine what is. And this family, and not only that, this baby has an older brother. That little boy lost his mother and now has a new sibling that just got delivered from his dead mother. I don't know how they're going to rationalize that to a little kid.
Can't imagine how he would process that. Like,
Right?
even as he gets older and gains a little bit more of an understanding of these things, like, how I can't see that relationship being good. I just can't. But of course, people process things differently. May come out on the other end of things, and once they mature and gain that better understanding, maybe that empathy will win out. I don't know, but I just don't see it being good.
I know that her family wasn't happy about it. And
Yeah.
so I get the feeling that they probably, well, eventually they're going to have to approach the topic because just the nature of the story being so big.
Right. And if he doesn't know about it now, he's going to know about it eventually.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's something that they have been forced to endure too. That they didn't ask for, that they didn't consent to. But I guess in Georgia that doesn't matter. I do know that there was a lawmaker who spoke about it, Presley, I believe, and made a comment. And I think that they're trying to introduce legislation to prevent this from happening again. But in all reality, them saying it to the states, okay, all states need to make this kind of thing illegal. This kind of thing
Agreed.
is not, it should never happen ever again. It never should have happened to begin with, and it has got to be stopped, because what will happen is not good.
No.
No,
the precedent's very, very dangerous, and like, it just, you kind of think later down the line, it's like, okay, any female body that could still possibly, like, be used in this manner, no matter what state their mind is in or what state their life is in, whether it be there on a diminished capacity or lack thereof. I mean, it's like, what are they going to do with them? Like, are they just going to hook them to machines and then inject them with hormones and do all this crazy stuff and like force a pregnancy on a dead body?
That's what I'm afraid of.
That scares me.
This was a
Terrifies
science
me.
project. This was a science project on a body that did not consent.
Yeah.
That is sacrilegious. It's mutilation. It's disrespectful. That's just the bottom of the whole entire iceberg. I and it just makes me really question things because, again, the whole states, it's to the states, right, where it comes to this issue. They've been saying the same thing when it comes to a few different issues, but yet all of these MAGA people from red states are coming in trying to tell people in California what they should do about whether or not they should be a sanctuary state or not. Well, you know what? The people in those states decided that they want to be sanctuary states. So who the hell are you to come into their state and tell them that they can't? That's one of those things that's had me going, what is wrong with you? Y'all say you don't want things shoved down your throat, but you're literally trying to shove your way down a state that's chosen a different way's throat. The population in this place does not agree with you. They don't agree with you. You go over and go stay with the people that are the majority rule what you think in those red states where you guys are making these outlandish laws that do these kinds of things to people. We don't want to do that. We don't want to be
No.
those kind of people. And because we don't want to do that and we don't want to be those kind of people, someone who lives in a blue state, go away. Nobody asked y'all to come to the West Coast and try to fucking parade yourselves here. We're not going back to your state trying to make you do anything that we're doing.
Right.
Like, if you don't like Mexicans, go ahead, send them all to us. And we will make send them all to us and we'll give them jobs and then we'll have all of this boosting economy and the West Coast will continue to pay for the impoverished red states, okay?
Right. As someone who's originally from a West Coast state, aka California, oh my gosh, I miss it so much because I'm just over here in this red state that is so freaking backwards, and I want out so bad. And just affordability and anything in this country it's just who the hell can afford to move, especially across the country? I can't afford to live in California anymore.
California is
Like,
expensive. And I was
yeah.
saying that too. I was like, there's something else I think that people need to realize about California, especially. This is the gold state, y'all. This is the gold state, as in the gold rush state, as in way richer than most of the other
Yeah.
states, okay? So,
Oh gosh, they pay most of our bills. Like,
yeah, they do.
the taxes that come out of there. So it's like, don't mess with California. Just don't.
Just leave them alone. They know what they're doing. Yeah. They got it under control. And California really does make, like, they pay most of this country's bills. I've said it over and over and over again, and I'll say it now. If it's not for the East and West Coast, the entire middle of this country is in a bad place. Those are your port states. Those are where most of your manufacturing is. Those are where your trains are.
Yep.
I mean, I can go on and on and on. And that is because they are coastal areas. They're the first place that people can get to when they're coming to the country by, sea, which was the primary way to get here in the beginning. So, like, I it really grinds my gears when I hear them say, we don't want to push down our throat, but they're the ones that are sending in aggressors in states that have already made decisions that stand with what they want to do. And
Right.
then it's not
And
just that.
pushing for this stuff with ICE too. Like
Yeah.
they're everywhere. Like my husband is telling me today, he went to the store earlier this morning. And he had to go pick up a couple things before we could really get started with everything we had to do today. And there's a woman there. We love her. We love her. She does a little bit of everything, cashiers, stocks, bags, you name it. And she's an immigrant. She has her green card. She's working on getting full citizenship. She had a immigration hearing the end of this month. And she was just notified by, I think he said it was text or something, that her hearing was canceled. And while she's not home, ICE came to her house.
Wow.
Yeah. And so her lawyer is fighting this as hard as he possibly can, but it's like, you're not even just like, you guys say that you want the criminals out, you want the illegals out, but you're coming after people who are doing it what you want to deem the legal way to be here, and you're trying to send them back too. And it's mind-boggling, like the mental gymnastics that they used to get to this, because like, I don't know, but
And the craziest thing is it was all mentioned in Project 2025 and everybody made it out like those of us who were talking about it were crazy and the reference of it will never happen and he doesn't know anything about it. Well, yeah, he did. And that brings me to another thing that people probably need to know about is Project Esther. I don't know if you've heard about that. It's
I
also by the
haven't heard of that one.
Heritage. It's a new one. It's also by the Heritage Foundation, and it's supposed to be what they're going to use to restrict, basically activism. And they're kind of doing the same thing to some of the immigrants now, where they are making them. I just seen a story about it earlier. They're making them set all of their social media profiles to public so that the immigration officials can scan their profiles for anything that they deem to be hostile against Israel. I
What?
am not
Oh
even
my
BSing
God.
you. I'm not even BSing you. And they're going to use different things to try to crack down on saying, like, if people like us talk about being pro Palestine, they're going to, in fact, you probably already are on a list.
You know. I've been talking about that for a long time, guys. So like
Yeah, and that's why when people say that to me, I'm like, oh, I've been red listed for fucking decades now, probably. Like,
absolutely.
oh, I know that they're already going to try to, like, they're supposed to be. One of the conspiracy theories is that they have three different lists. They have the black list, the red list, and the white list. And the red list are the black lists are basically the loyalists, and the white lists are the ones that can be reprogrammed, educatable. In other words, they can be brainwashed, is what they believe.
Right. Sorry, it won't be easy over here.
Right. But yeah, that's supposedly what they have. And then also, it's crazy if you look at the Hunger Games, how they have districts. We actually do have districts. Um, there
Sure.
are FEMA districts, and those are set up a specific way to keep us separated in the event that a tyrant takes over, basically. I mean, that's not really the reason why they created them. They'll tell you that it was for other reasons, but that's what I believe they did it for.
Hey, you know what? We can't believe a lot of what they say anyway, so
That is true. And then, like, at this point, everything they do is a lie. And sometimes I'm like, there are certain times when he is telling you the truth. He's totally telling you the truth right out of his mouth when he said that he'll grab him by the. Yep, he will. When he said he was going to be a dictator on day one, well, guess what, buddies? He has been.
Oh, that he's not gonna do that. He's just saying that it's not true. Who's eating their words now? Like,
And then there were people that are saying, like, I don't understand what's wrong with us celebrating the 250th birthday of the United States Army. Well, see, that's not the thing that is the problem, okay? The problem is that the president co opted it to make it about himself.
and even the soldiers that marched in that stupid parade knew it, because you saw how they were marching completely out of step, and everybody knows that that is their form of protest, right? Like,
Malicious,
so
malicious
come on.
compliance.
Right.
Yeah, and none of them wanted to be there, and it was, like, everyone knew that it was him trying to use them to showcase power he thinks that he has. And in all reality, as we get into the last few minutes here, we had a historical breakthrough record making appearance of people that protested on No King's Day. And I don't know if you've heard or not, but they're doing No King's Day 2.0 on 4th of July. It's being planned right now.
I
And
love it.
right, like, so yeah, I'm really excited about that. I think that will be great. It's one of the best days to do it. And I think we should have a No King's Day every week. Like,
I agree 1,000% with that. Yeah.
when I think that some of the projections were like 12.1 million people came out. That's, like they said, the statistics say we only need 3.5% of the population to dissent in order to overthrow a dictator, and that was definitely.
I think I saw something that said final count was 13.14 million, I think.
Yeah, I've been seeing that between 12.1 and 13, but
either way,
that's a big chunk of the population. And that not everybody was out there that's in agreement with it either. And I mean, I'm sure that not everyone who is in disagreement with it was out there either. There still is their little percentage. But as this man draws us towards becoming participants in World War III, because let's be real, we have people allying in the Middle East that have never allied before. Saudi Arabia came to Iran's defense. They've historically been, okay, said that Israel was the instigator, that they attacked them even though Iran had not done anything, which is true.
right.
So now Saudi Arabia is behind Iran, and Iran is making a lot of very, very serious threats, but so is the stupid president. And it's very clear that he has no desire to try to dissolve the conflict, but to exacerbate it if he can.
That's what he does.
Yeah, and Russia, even Putin's making fun of him right now. Like, he can't even dictator right. Isn't that what you said?
I think so.
Like, and then, China and Russia both directed all of their citizens to leave Israel yesterday. And today, American diplomats are leaving Israel. All kinds of stuff's happening. So, this man's basically shown us that he's willing to risk us being blown off the map for his own personal goals, while simultaneously showing that he gives not one single fart about anyone else, not even other politicians who have been murdered simply because they were not a MAGA.
Mm.
And I don't know if you want to do your plant segment real quickly as we come into like I'm gonna do like five minutes and you can do that. But that's basically what I had for tonight. And yeah.
I mean, I don't really have much going on. Haven't really. Um, we've had so much rain that stuff's just kind of out there doing their own thing, doing its own thing right now. I have some seedlings that are dying because they're not getting enough sun, unfortunately,
Oh
because
no.
of the rain. But it's okay. It's okay. I have the wonderful, intelligent planter that if I've got to start some things over, I can. It's not too late. So it's peppers and tomatoes. Those are summer things, and it's cool. But yeah, not a lot going on because rain.
Oh. Well, rain's
So
good though.
much.
For some points, it's good. Hopefully, you get some
It
sunny days soon.
is. It is. Yeah. I mean, I can't say it's all bad. I mean, my mother sent me these beans that, like, when they grow, they're purple, but then when you cook them, they turn green. And so those are doing really well
Oh,
with all the
cool.
rain from what I saw when we were leaving the house earlier. Um, there's actually like some buds all over them. And I was like, okay, you guys are only maybe about a foot tall, but yeah, go for it. So it's great though.
All right. Well, I'm sad that we missed out on Bev, but um, it was good to talk to you, and I will see you probably here in another 2 weeks for us to have another podcast discussion, and hopefully we'll have some good news about your plants and their growth then.
We'll see.
All right. Until next time, have a good night.